We have a lot to cover here this week. As you may already know, we had a terrible non-farms payroll number last week and a lot more jobs data to kind of support that to talk about. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the jobs market here today. Plus, our question of the week, thank you, David, is about Social Security and running out in 2033. We're going to talk a little bit about that, share my perspective on what that may mean for you and your retirement planning. Again, I'm Brandon Steele, financial advisor with Mainsail Financial Group here in Bellevue. And our goal every Thursday is to bring to you the market news, hopefully weed out a lot of the noise and share with you the stuff that really matters or that you can grasp onto as you start to develop some changes in your portfolios and your planning. It's holiday season, so hopefully everybody's enjoying their start to December. It's crazy that we only have, 3 weeks left until 2022. But here we are. So make the most of it. I hope you are able to hit it hard here for the last few weeks of the year and enjoy making it a good 2021 and spending some time with family. Last week was not good. So Friday last week, we had non-farm payrolls numbers come out at only 210,000 jobs added through the month of November. Only 210,000. That is not good. Here we are, right, trying to work our way out of this COVID craziness and get people back to work and kind of get this economy back to pre-COVID levels. We just had this very disappointing jobs number. This was in comparison to expectations of 573 jobs was the anticipated number. And last month, the month of October, adding 546,000, I think, jobs there. So this is not what we want to see. This was a terrible number. But come Thursday, we had initial jobless claims and they were actually down. So a great number here. So I guess the question is, well, what's going on? Is the labor market healthy? Do we have issues? Where are the challenges coming from? My personal perspective is that a lot of this is due to how jobs are reported. I think we all know one of the challenges with some of these data points is the factors that go into measuring them, right? We can talk about unemployment challenges all day long. And a lot of that carries over to how some of these jobs numbers are reported as well. So I think a lot of that is where some of these challenges really lie. If somebody's not searching for a job or whatever the case might be, that factors in. For those who know the challenges with unemployment rates, you get what I mean by this, because here's the thing, right? We see job openings this week at over 11 million job openings, yet we only filled 210,000 jobs in the month of November. Something is not right here, right? Something is wrong. There's some sort of discrepancy going on, and the question is, well, where does it come from? Is it really that we can't match up 11 million jobs to all the people looking for them? Is it pay issues? Is it competition issues? Or is it possible that maybe some of these numbers are skewed a little bit as well with how they factor in? So it's a tough question to answer, right? I do think that there's probably a bit of both going on here. I think that, as we get maybe through next year, hopefully we'll see a lot more of those jobs get filled, because obviously, we may need to kind of get back in the swing of things and make sure that, if you weren't working for a few months here during the COVID pandemic, at some point you're going to need to get yourself a paycheck, make sure that you can provide for yourself. So it's very possible that we see that in the coming months. I would have expected it. It happened last month. I would have expected it this month, but here we are with this giant discrepancy. And so hopefully we see that happen, because that job openings number, if you remember from last month, was only 10 million in October. Here we are for the November number, and we're at over 11 million. So we have this very tough balance going on, right? There are all these job openings going and growing. We're seeing that number increase, yet the jobs being filled are growing, but at a much slower pace. So we've got to somehow figure out how to match these things up. Before we get into the question of the week, again, most of the time I wanted to spend this week was going to be on job openings. I will share, as far as markets go, we've bounced back quite a bit here this week at this point. And so it's been good to see that after the concern, I guess, with Omicron and just the market kind of pullback that we saw there late the week before and early last week. But coming up, we've got inflation numbers tomorrow. So get ready. We're expecting another giant number on the inflation side of it. And we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about that next Thursday. So please be sure to join us Thursday at 3. Next week, we're going to talk about inflation and what that means. We also have producer price indexes coming out. So how much inflation is impacting producers and retail sales. Plus, to tie the bow on all this, we've got the Fed coming out with their press conference. So we'll get inflation data tomorrow, Friday, and then the Fed next week to see where they stand with any changes on the inflation numbers that we see. All right, with that, let's talk a little about the question of the week. Question of the week, thank you again so much, David, for sending this our way, is there was I believe it was an AARP article written recently that stated Social Security is running short. It's going to run out by 2033. And basically stating that, COVID has a large impact on this. We're seeing a lot of people, I'm seeing it personally with my clients, a lot of people retiring earlier, a lot of people saying, you know what, I'm fed up and just quitting in general. So COVID has caused a lot of producers in the marketplace to pull back. And obviously that means they are not paying into Social Security. In fact, some of them have gone from paying into Social Security to taking out of Social Security. So the question is very relevant, right? What's going to happen with Social Security? We've been talking about this for ages, but obviously the pandemic has sped up some of this as well. And the concern is, when will we run out of money in that program? Again, as the article states, it depends on where you look, but possibly as soon as 2033 is kind of some of the numbers that are out there. One of what I will share is that we are clearly in a problem. We have a problem with Social Security, right? If nothing is done, it will run out at some point. Now, I do believe that something will be done, and so my question or my proposal to you, I guess, is to figure out who that might affect, right? I believe that they will make changes. I believe they need to make changes. Now, they may wait until it's last minute to do so because it's going to hurt some people, but they will make changes and get ahead of this, I believe, at some point. Now, what changes are made, I think, is a really big question. And my perspective on this is that it most likely will be folks that are younger, maybe myself included, maybe folks, younger than me even. It's very possible my benefits may not even be affected. They made changes to Social Security, I believe it was back in the 80s. And when they did that, bear with me a little bit, don't quote me on these exact numbers, but when they made those changes, what they did is they slid the scale on full retirement age for claiming your benefits. And at that time, when they made those changes, the people that were affected were, I believe, age 25 and younger, right? So they still had 40 years until they were even going to draw on these benefits. So I think this is really important because most people who are concerned about this Social Security question are probably a little closer to retirement. My perspective is that they may change some things slightly for the folks who are closer, but really I don't expect a whole lot of change for you if you are, let's say, 5 years, maybe even 10 years from Social Security. I think you're probably in a pretty safe spot. You've been banking on this your whole life. They know that if they change that up on you, it would be a huge, huge uproar. However, again, folks on the younger scale, it's very possible that they may either reduce the benefits we're eligible for, slide back our full retirement age, whatever the case may be. They may change some of the other programs as well, right? Social Security is not just a retirement benefit. There's a death benefit, there's a disability benefit. So possibly some of those things will adjust along the way as well to help make it a little more viable. But I really appreciate the question, David. I'll send a copy on me here soon for sharing this. And of course, if you guys have any questions for us, let us know. We'd be happy to send you a copy if we end up using it. It's probably on a lot of people's minds. So I think it's a great question to answer. And I'm very happy that you sent this over so that we could address it. Let us know what questions you have. Let us know if you think that Social Security will be around if you're closer to retirement or what changes you think they may make. But we really appreciate you joining us here this week, and we'll see you next Thursday to talk about inflation and the Fed. Have a great day.